"Get out of my house, you lowlife." That was the last thing my father said before the door slammed in my face. My mother didn't even look up, just sat there, arms crossed, pretending the broken sun in front of her wasn't real. The night smelled like rain and cheap whiskey. I remember the sound of my suitcase scraping against the gravel as I dragged it down the driveway. My father's silhouette in the window, satisfied, righteous, as if kicking me out erased every failure he'd ever made. He didn't know, they didn't know, that I was already worth $20 million. I grew up in that house being told success was something I'd never touch. My father worshipped appearances, suits, titles, degrees. He'd look at me, a college dropout, and see nothing but wasted potential. He didn't understand tech, didn't understand that a laptop in a rented room could build empires now. While he called me lazy, I was coding through the night. While he bragged about my brother's MBA, I was negotiating funding rounds with investors who called me visionary. But the night he called me trash, that was the night I decided I was done explaining myself. I moved out quietly, no arguments, no tears, just silence, the kind that unnerves people because it feels final. The next morning, I woke up in my Florida beach house, glass walls, white sand, the ocean folding against the shore like it knew me. I didn't post anything, didn't brag, didn't need to. Revenge, I've learned, works best when it's patient, when it waits for the right stage. 3 weeks later, I got a call. It was my mother. Her voice trembled, the way it used to when she was lying. "Your father's company is in trouble," she said. He might lose everything." I almost smiled. I knew. I had known for weeks, because the company my father worshipped like a god, the one he always said I'd never be good enough to join, was crumbling under a bad investment deal, a deal I orchestrated. It started months before he kicked me out. I discovered he'd been using inside information to undercut one of my startup partners, illegal if you're wondering. He didn't know I was connected to that company. He thought he was playing in the big leagues, too far above his uneducated son. So I waited, let him dig his own grave. Then I bought the company he tried to sabotage, anonymously, through a shell group. Every move he made after that, every desperate investment, every acquisition, I made sure I was on the other end, tightening the net. By the time his board discovered the losses, he'd already signed his resignation papers. He didn't know the buyer who swooped in to rescue his assets was me. When my mother called again, she asked if I could help. "He's broken," she whispered. "Please, he needs you." I told her I'd think about it. 2 days later, I drove back to that house. Same gravel driveway, same heavy air of judgment. He opened the door this time, eyes sunken, tie gone, hands trembling. "Son," he said, voice cracking, I was wrong." I looked around. The once spotless home looked tired, hollow. Trophies on the shelf gathering dust. The smell of stale coffee and regret. "Wrong about what?" I asked quietly. He swallowed hard. "About you. About everything." I nodded slowly, letting silence stretch. "Funny," I said. "I told myself the same thing about you." He looked confused, then afraid, because he saw the car parked behind me. My car, my driver, my insignia, the same logo that now sat on every property deed he once owned. Realization hit him like a slow blade. "You," he started. "Yes," I said, "the company you sold everything to, the one that owns your assets now, it's mine." He stepped back, shaking. "You planned this?" "No," I said. "You did. I just let your greed finish the job." He sat down, silent. My mother stood in the corner, crying softly. I looked at her. "You could have stopped him that night," I said, "but you didn't." She tried to speak, but I raised a hand. "I'm not here for apologies," I said. "I'm here for closure." Then I placed a check on the table, enough for them to live comfortably, not luxuriously, just comfortably. Consider it compensation for the son you threw out, I said. As I turned to leave, my father whispered, "You wanted revenge." I paused at the doorway. "No," I said quietly. "I wanted peace. Revenge was just how I earned it." Outside, the air was cleaner. The same gravel under my shoes, but it sounded different this time, lighter. I got into my car, looked once at the house shrinking in the mirror, and smiled. They called me uneducated trash. Now, they live on my property. And I never needed their approval, just their silence.